And it looks like we're live. I think we are. Searching for a good screensaver. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, we don't need this. Got to get through the commercial. Oh, love this. Croatia. Why does everybody in these screensavers have to put advertisements in it? Oh, that is so annoying. Alright. Seems like there's a little bit of consternation in the peanut gallery here. Some of you are in the peanut gallery, others are in executive seating. Yes, this is Ernie, Trader of Futures, and it is Wednesday. What is today? Is today December something? December 2nd? No. It's not! It's not December yet. It's Wednesday, November 28th. That's because I'm in the future. Always thinking ahead. Always concerned for you guys. Move off over here. How's the quality of the stream today? Seriously, dude. You think we're going up? I must, you know, put out there, first of all, what's the battle cry? What is the battle cry? What is the strategy? What is the undying strategy until it starts to hurt? What do I say? Short every friggin' rally. Well, friggin', that's not necessarily, you know, the official verbiage. But it is short every rally. Short every rally until it hurts. Until it hurts! Must short every rally until it hurts! It's worked 98% of the time. Short every rally until you feel the pain. Short every rally. Wow, this is really beautiful back there. Look at that. That is gorgeous. That's Croatia. It's my new hat. Surge's Disciples. For those who do not know who Surge is, it's a reference to Surge Storm. Surge Storm is a character, the protagonist, in a series of books by Tim Dorsey. You may look it up. Surge is a serial killer with standards. Some people might liken him to, oh, what was that show with a guy who was the forensic pathologist? Dexter. That's it. Some may liken him to Dexter, but he is far more insidious than Dexter. Surge only kills people that need to be killed in order to protect the gene pool. And yes, I am a disciple of Surge. Surge is the way. Asdirt says, it's a bull trap. Gotta trap those bulls. And there's lots of them to trap. You must understand that this entire move down has been orchestrated. Orchestrated for a purpose. You don't think that this just spontaneously happened, do you? Is that what you think? You think that all of a sudden there was just this epiphany amongst all the millions of wallet holders that they must dump their Bitcoin. Alright. We gotta put these away. No, it's not jewelry. Tone Vase is losing his mind. He went from bearish to bearish and now bullish again. Ha! And oh man. What a fool. Tone! Seriously, man. This is not a guessing game. If you have a position, if you believe in it, invest in it. Don't flip-flop. Flapperjack. Oh, Tone. It just amazes me that you have 70,000 plus followers. It's just unbelievable. Tyler says, small dose of hopium in the sea of red. Yeah, we have this other guy, the Moon. He's getting all excited. Talking about the bands, if it crosses the band. And then Bitcoin will decide as if it has some sort of consciousness. I did entertain that notion one time that perhaps you could look at this entire network as being alive. The collective consciousness of all these wallet holders. A decentralized consciousness. It is, in fact, an AI that has some semblance of sentience. Sentience, is that a word? Well, it is now. What is Ernie's judgment on the singularity net? Well, we are all heading towards an eventual singularity, I believe. But I have no knowledge, or nothing to actually be worthwhile to talk about singularity net. Yeah, I gotta clean off the lens here. Yeah, let me clean it off with a lens cleaner. There we go. Spook says they call me the Bitcoin cowboy, rounding up all those Bitcoins. I'm just a Bitcoin cowboy. Blumph is killing... Blumph? What the hell? What is Blumph is killing my oil stocks? Oh, Trump. Well, if you knew how to read Trump, which is pretty simple. He says what he's going to do, and then he friggin' does it. Not hard. Of course, the mainstream media, the deep state, they think everything is a covert operation. There must be some malevolence behind all of this Trumpyism. They're so stupid. He says it, he does it. He says, look, oil is a tax. Oil is a tax on our economy. It must be kept lower. And so what does he do? He puts the screws to OPEC. He opens up the floodgates for our national production. And what happens? The United States becomes the #1 producer of energy, both oil and natural gas. We are the #1 producer of oil in the world. We've topped off or started to top off our strategic reserves. I would expect that even today, the analysts that are following energy, that are somehow the prognosticators of what to expect in our strategic reserves, were once again befuddled. And I haven't even looked at it yet. Befuddled by the higher than expected amount of oil in our strategic reserves. And who's doing that? Trump. The Trump man, the Donald. He's working for you by lowering your costs across the board. When oil goes down, the cost of energy goes down. It is, in fact, a tax on all of us. He is fighting the deep state because the deep state is doing everything they can to raise your taxes, to raise your costs, to put more regulation on. And he's even said what his target is. He says it should be in the 40s, 45 or lower, he said. So I take him at his word that oil will be below 45. Then I fully expect him to take his jackboot and put it on the neck of those energy producers. So a lot of people think that he's not punishing Saudi Arabia, that somehow he's let them off the hook with this Khashoggi incident. Not that he really cares. I don't really care either. I mean, really, is Khashoggi really our concern? Is he really an American? Or is he just one of the compatriots of the deep state and the mainstream media, the fake news? That's all he is. I mean, look, I am very concerned when somebody is murdered. I mean, that's a bad thing. But are we going to give up our national security, our way of life, because of one person? Now, I think that, in a way, this pushing down the oil prices is, in fact, a way of punishing the Saudis. But that's not the purpose. The purpose is to elevate all of us here in this country, this nation. And by elevating us and being self-serving here, we are serving the rest of the world. This is a very Buddhist concept, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that by eliminating our own suffering, we are, in fact, eliminating the suffering of others. Wow. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Wow, that's gorgeous. Tim Din. To the moon, Ernie! To the fackin' moon? Oh, is that because it'll not allow you to put any expletives in there? And Flippo4 says, now this is a clickbait title if I've ever seen one. I know I could do it. With your help, of course. I am inspired by all you people. I would like, if you could, go down below to the Discord. There's a Discord link down there. There's an invite to my Discord, and I would really appreciate it if you... It's an invite to all of you to go to the Discord and become part of the membership there. It's totally free. Get involved in the conversation. We talk about general things, whatever you want, politics, whatever. We also have a channel for trading the markets. We have a channel for weed. We talk about weed, growing it, investing in it, using it. And we have a section for making trade calls. And, of course, there is a private channel in there for those people who are members of the AI setups. And that's where we talk about the setups that we put out on a daily basis. The setups that are 85% profitable. 85%. With a return on capital. See, without saying the return on capital, the 85% would be, so what? So you make a penny a day. A penny on each trade. No. Each one of these trades, on average, pays for more than 1 year of the service. And that's a fact. Aries, Aries says, I think increasing Bitcoin is to let people buy Bitcoin, and then they will decrease the price. Increasing Bitcoin is to let people buy. Oh, I see what you're saying. That in effect is a bull trap. Someone's calling me. Oh. It is the artificial intelligence mentor. How you doing? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know what I call a blast off, but when you're using futures and it goes up a little bit, even if it goes up $1, that's, you can make a fair amount of money. But look at it compared to the total move down. Oh, definitely in the context of a daily move, yes, it is a big move for an intraday trader. But in the context of the total move, it is nothing but a blip. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Oil did make a nice little move. It was a good call. But I wouldn't think that that's repeatable, because I think that it's still going down. Awesome. Whoa, look at the market. It is taking off. What's going on here? Let's see. The Canada dollar. The Canada dollar, by the way, is one of the trades that we have on that we called in our AI setup service. I'm online now, right now, by the way. I am live. Mm-hmm. Well, the high of CD today is 0.7545. Oh, okay. So you're saying we should get out here? Well, it's pulled back a little bit to 7534. So let me get this straight, that you're in the AI setups group, the Discord group, the private group for our subscribers, and you are providing mentorship, trade guidance, risk analysis, and I can see it right here. There it is. Mick Smith. Here, I'll bring up that graphic. These are the trades that you made. that you made in the Discord group today and allowed people to make how many pips? All right, so there it is, folks. Live trading in our Discord group. I'd say that right now we're running up greater than an 85% win rate. But that's not the important part, Mr. AIM. The important part is the return on capital. That is just off the hook. Yeah, 7 out of 7 there today. Now I want to make it very clear to everybody that this isn't necessarily part of our calls, but this is part of being part of that private Discord. The calls themselves are making great money as they are, but we're also providing an additional service in there for those that want to day trade. Oh, so the trade is based on the signal call too. So we're, yeah. So we're managing the winnings. That's right. If you can't trade the futures, you can still trade the Forex version. And in some cases, you can trade an ETF, an equivalent ETF. And we spell all that out for people in our materials. Okay. Thank you very much, AIM, Mr. AIM. Bye. Wow, that is great news. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but that's just a matter of note. Those people who want to trade futures, Forex, ETFs, might want to look at our AI setups. Go to traderofutures.com. You can either buy a year membership or a monthly membership. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. 85% win rate with a return on capital that is off the hook. Sometimes 100, 200, sometimes even 500% return on capital. Wow. Okay. Back to this thing we call Bitcoin. And I'm sorry if I got behind here. At least the background is not moving. Oh, thanks for reminding me. Back to Croatia. Oh, that is so soothing. Just bask in the sun here. Oh, this is wonderful. Breathe that fresh air. How much a month? It's $99 a month. You need to have a large account to utilize the AI setups, right? No, you don't. Although I would recommend on any kind of trading that you have at least $10,000. I mean, $5,000, that would be kind of tough. $10,000 though, you can do micro contracts on both mini or micro contracts on Forex. You can do micro contracts on futures with the currencies as well as gold and energy. There are also the equivalent ETFs. So you could, and trading with options, that would be another way to really keep risk under control. And we provide all that guidance. So you don't have to be a strict trader in futures, although the futures way is just off the hook, man. Holy crap. I wouldn't. Mike Kim. Oh, now Mike Kim I've identified as a troll. However, he wouldn't touch BTC with a 10-foot pole, so maybe he's getting back into the better graces. I may have misread him at first, but we'll continue to read some of his comments. Plenty of much better currencies out there than BTC. Oh, so he's going to talk about other cryptos, I bet. I don't know yet. Dawa says Bitcoin is not a currency, but digital gold and digital casino. It's not digital gold, but digital casino, yes, I will agree with that. One of the worst casinos I could possibly imagine. There is no owner of that casino. Mr. Hayseed, how you doing? Fast movers, these folks. Nathan, how you doing? You need to have a large account to utilize all the AA setups. I read that already, but the answer is no. Surfin' Goat. All right, let's get down here. Can I use the AI with a small account? I think I just answered that. Maximus. Ernie, you getting bored? About what? No, I am having such a great time. Oh, look at that. How? This is in Croatia? Man, I gotta go to Croatia. Whew. Ernie, where to short Bitcoin? At 5,000? No, my standing trade, my standing strategy is to short every friggin' rally. And for me, rallies are anything more than 300 points. That's about right. If it rallies more than 300 points, then I get into shorting mode. Now that doesn't mean that as soon as it hits 300 points, I just go all in. No. I scale in, and I have levels that I'm willing to add to that are progressive. Sometimes, you make the money off that first tranche, sometimes on the second, sometimes on the third. Did not know that was a Buddhist idea. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people have a misconception about Buddhism. Like, for instance, that there is some kind of reincarnation aspect to it. The original Buddha had no concept, and he thought that was completely bunk, this idea of reincarnation. He was steeped in the real world. So reincarnation, that's the Dalai Lama bullshit. The Tibetan idea. Those are the guys that are in the cult. Also, a lot of the Buddhists that are over here in this country now that claim to be Buddhist really use it as a kind of an activist platform, too. Again, not Buddhism. Look at Zen Buddhism. That is real Buddhism. Real Buddhism is more akin to being a libertarian and an objectivist, kind of like on the idea of an Ayn Rand. But that whole concept, of really relieving the self, relieving the suffering of the self, is the ultimate concept and what this country was founded on, and that is the individual. By improving the self, the individual, we improve everything else around us. You cannot help other people until you've helped yourself, is really what it comes down to. Looks like the falls in Krka National Park, Croatia, is beautiful. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. It's just too many consonants in a row. KRK. 300 points is equal to 3%, right? I don't look at it as a percentage. I just look at it as 300 points. When it gets, it would appear that that's about what most of these whales are targeting. They target about 200, 300, sometimes 400 points. That's what they can push up. That's the limit of their capacity. Could you explain what is 300 points, please? Explain points. It would be highly appreciated. I'm talking about Bitcoin. Right now the current value is about 4,000, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit higher. So if it were at 4,000, 300 points would be 4,300. Pretty simple. Pretty darn simple. So there were all kinds of comments way earlier on that I missed. Let's see. Hey, Rich, how you doing? Rich77. Would you accept that the manipulation was keeping the price at 6,000? When the BS buying dropped, it was revealed that there wasn't much left. See, I think that the whales thought that they could create some sort of consolidation, some jumping off point at 6,000, that they could attract more people. But when they saw that the interest was actually waning that entire time, and it wasn't getting any better, just getting worse and worse, they realized that 6,000 wasn't the level, so they allowed it to drop. Now it's dropped down to 4,000, maybe even 3,500, and I think that they're going to find the same thing. It might take them a little while, but then they're going to discover that the real level that they need to allow it to drop to before it can get rid of all the shit coins out there, in my estimation, is probably closer to 1,000. Some people believe it's 2,500. I think it's lower. Flippo says, Ernie, I need some training on the psychological component of patience. It is easy to be patient on the way down, but how does one maintain patience when the market begins to pump like this? Well, part of that is confidence. Developing a philosophy that you can believe in. And then executing strategies on that philosophy that seem to work on a consistent basis. Also, getting control of your position sizing. Your position sizing needs to be small. It's very difficult to be confident when you have very large positions. You can grow into your position sizes, but you need to develop the confidence first. Confidence, and developing confidence, and having a strong foundation in a philosophical bent and a bias. You need that bias. You need to feel confident about it and have a plan. I mean, all of this is kind of outgrowths of this. That's how you develop the confidence. That's how you get over the psychological part. It's not hard. You need to have skin in the game, but by going into it lightly at first, tiptoeing, putting your toe into the water, so to speak, testing the waters, is the way to go. That way you're not fully committed, but you're committed enough that you still have skin in the game. Having a fully developed... I thought the dog was running downstairs. Having a fully developed philosophy and then strategies that are consistent with that philosophy. Developing a narrative, a bias, a fundamental view of the market that allows you to go in just in one direction. That's important too. Right now I am supremely confident that this market is going down and continuing to go down. And I'll feel that way until it stops going down. And I'll only trade in that direction. Only in that direction. That gives me a great deal of confidence in every trade that I make. And even then, I'm only stepping into it. Adding to it as I see the opportunity increasing. Mike Kim says, Tone Vase has more followers than you because he doesn't delete comments posted by his subscribers. I don't delete comments. Never have. The only comments that I delete are spam. There's this one person that puts stuff out there that is definitely spam, and you can tell because they put this comment on there, then it has an email in it, and then as soon as they put the comment on there, it gets like 16 replies. That is the only comment that I delete. I will delete somebody who is becoming scary, right? And occasionally, and it's not the reason why I have less followers than Tone at all. You do not know the history. I at one time had the kind of followers that Tone had, but my channel was deleted after somebody stole my identity, and they also deleted many of my other internet properties. Had I been going on at the same rate, I would probably have as many or more subscribers than Tone, but I had to start completely from scratch. My entire internet history was wiped out. Wiped. That's okay. I'm more interested in not numbers, but the quality of those numbers. Engagement with these people, you guys. That is where it's at. What kind of question is, who is Peter Schiff? You don't know who Peter Schiff is? I know that you know who Peter Schiff is. Hayseed says, the word that I was looking for before when I was talking about, is Bitcoin alive? Is it an artificial intelligence? Is it sentient? Yes, that is exactly right. Does it have a consciousness? Is that combined or collective consciousness? Can it be considered a singularity, a single consciousness? And that's a good question. That's a kind of a philosophical question. All right, so Flippo's answering Maxima, saying, yeah, he follows the Austrian School of Economics. Kind of. But what he really follows is, you're right, gold, because that's what he does. He has a gold fund. And he is more or less a perma-bear. Damien is all upset. He says, massive move! What the hell? Where is the true Ernie? Fell right into my trap. Barney Google, you are new. Why are you trying to think of Death Wish as an analogy for Surge? I didn't say Death Wish. I didn't say... are you familiar with Surge Storm? No, I said Dexter is what I said. I said Dexter. The show, that cable show that was on... Was it on cable? I think it may have been on a network, too. I liken Bitcoin to Hillary Clinton. I'm only happy if it goes down. She goes down a lot. I like your picture. You should have a, not a mega hat, a MAGA hat. And get on the carnivore diet and get some HGH. I am on a carnivore diet, and I've actually lost about 25 pounds, believe it or not. I still have a ways to go. I've heard the energy policy from back in the day was to use theirs first. Well, that's not the energy policy these days. You're right, Casanova, that people are not used to a leader that actually does what he says he's going to do. It's kind of scary. It is extremely scary for the opposition party. They just do not know what to do. They are besides themselves, so they have to make up shit. Maximus says, Ernie loves America. That's true. I love this country. All global now, not U.S. calling the shots single-handedly anymore? No, that's not true at all. We are taking it back. Taking it back. He lost GM. It will be hard to gain Ohio again. I don't think so. You know, again, that is globalist propaganda. GameCuba says that Khashoggi had a bunch of ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah, that's true. And I'm sure that once Trump learned of that, he said, you know, I could give a shit about Khashoggi. I only care about the American people. Khashoggi this! Ernie or Jay Powell? Who's Jay Powell? I've heard the name. I'd have to look it up, but I don't particularly pattern myself after anybody. I try to be my own person. Yep, fake media. Codio Earthier. When doing a live stream, you may want to not answer your personal phone calls. No, that is part of the live stream, man. That is exactly what I do. All right, so at first, Mike Kim, I thought, you know, you were spouting bullshit, but I'm starting to think that maybe you're not a troll. You're getting better and better with each comment. So I'm reserving judgment. All right, now let's get back down to this stuff here. BTC spiked to 43.50. That's a spike. Bob Miner, is that a spike? ZZ Webb, there's a new person. How is Trump and Powell crashing the central bank going to affect Bitcoin? I don't see any correlation. Let me just say that, in general, there is zero, there is nada, there is zippo, nada correlation of Bitcoin with the regular markets. None that I have seen. There are some people that will claim that there has been some correlation, usually on a temporary basis. They're talking out their ass. They don't understand the concept of correlation. A correlation is indicative of a relationship between two assets. If it is just temporarily correlated, and even if it appears to be even on a contingency or a longer-term basis correlated, it does not necessarily mean there is an underlying correlation. That relationship has to be strong. There has to be some kind of tie. So a temporary correlation is not a correlation. It is a coincidence. That's what it is. Bitcoin to $9.99. That's right. That's what I said. $9.99. And Ernie to 100K subscribers next year, same time. I agree with that. My last channel, I started out just like this, and I kept on going and going and going and adding and adding and adding, and then it kept on building and building and building and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it started to get on this curve like that. And so I'm just biding my time, putting out great content, and engaging with you guys, and that is the secret. Gregory Alzewski, how you doing, man? Can you explain something to a naive Bitcoin newbie? I'll try. How can the main selling premise of anonymity with decentralization hold true? If there will always be a permanent and continuous ledger. Well, anonymity is definitely not part of Bitcoin. However, there are some coins that have an obfuscation mechanism in there that they can obfuscate the transactions enough so that you cannot easily map it with any singular wallet. So that function exists in some coins, but definitely not in Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, Bitcoin is exactly the antithesis of anonymity or obfuscation. It is the perfect ledger. The only way that you could possibly simulate anonymity in Bitcoin is by using a different wallet for every transaction, and then it would be relatively difficult to track. But not impossible, by the way. Where would you start shorting this rally? I've already started shorting this rally at 39.60. And then I'm willing to go up to 4,200, 4,500. After that, I'd have to really think. And I'm going in light there. I don't have a full position. Even at 4,500 after 3 tranches, I'm still only at about a 2/5 position, full-size position. Fortis Connect. I think this is the first time I've seen your comment. Went long on Bitcoin yesterday, looking for 47.30 tops, a short swing trade. All right, so you got lucky. Of course, I'm sure you don't believe that you are lucky. Flippo4 says, I don't understand the concept of no correlation. If the Fed maintains an accommodative policy, is that not bullish for all assets, including crypto? No. So correlation is actually a statistical measure. It has a very precise statistical definition. You can actually measure correlation using the correlation coefficient as well as co-integration. All right, so from a statistical point of view, it is not correlated. As a matter of fact, the regular markets and Bitcoin have zero correlation from that statistical point of view. The statistical point of view is the only true way to measure the strength of that relationship over time. Otherwise, it's just guessing, or it looks like it's correlated. So you can look at random data and think that you see patterns where no patterns exist. When you start to put some statistical rigor to it, try to make money off of those patterns that you think that you see, if they have no statistical correlation, you'll end up losing money. Why they closed my first channel? It was because they didn't like my content. That's all I can think of. They targeted my YouTube channel. It was making some real inroads, real impact. People started listening to my contrarian position to the predominant wind that was out there. David Hamilton, how you doing, man? Now you have the green screen. How about showing how to get started trading regular stocks from scratch? Well, I do that. Our AI setups, trade a wide number of things. In my old channel, I had literally hundreds of videos on trading stocks and options, strategies. And that's going to take a little while to build up. And I'm not in that mode right now, David. My primary concern right now is to build engagement, build this audience, try to give people the truth about Bitcoin and the current economy. I will definitely be talking more about futures and stocks and options and the Treasury, the Fed, etc. I am more interested, though, when it comes to trading stocks or trading anything, that people understand the overriding philosophy behind that. To get a true world view. And that's why I profess things like the trilogy by Nassim Taleb with The Black Swan, Anti-Fragile, Fooled by Randomness, and now Skin in the Game, so you may say the quadrangle. I think that you need to develop a philosophy before you start getting into trading and before you develop any specific strategy. I don't think there's any problem with dipping your toe and trying different things, but you need to put it into a perspective that position sizing is everything. Don't commit yourself when you have no knowledge and no confidence. All that will happen is as soon as it goes against you, that'll emit or start developing this visceral fear. It'll and then that will compromise your ability to think clearly. So that's my purpose here, is to help people think clearly. I often say that it's all about using logic and reason and have a skeptical mind. Nathan's asking, what would you do, or what would you have to see to make you believe that Bitcoin has ended its downward trend and is at the beginning of a strong uptrend? So, first of all, I don't look at Bitcoin per se. Bitcoin is a reflection of the fundamental underlying story. The one thing that I spend a large amount of my time is looking at the ecosystem underneath Bitcoin, looking at how companies, enterprises are actually looking to incorporate this into their business model. How the culture is on that enterprise and corporate scene. Are they actually making any inroads? Are there applications that real people can use to benefit from? Until that has solved itself, Bitcoin may have some ups and downs, but it will not have sticking power. So I need to see that, and also a commensurate rise in Bitcoin that matches that fundamental story. That's what I need to see. Gregory says, take care, Ernie. Love your content. Have a good day. See you, man. Debabrata Pramanik. Debabrata. That's pretty cool. People who live outside the U.S. or EU, like me, and don't have access to any instrument to short Bitcoin, how do you think we should play the long game? What should be the cost average? Sorry for the long question. That's not a long question. There are ways to short Bitcoin, even if you are outside. Now, I don't know your particular situation, but futures are accessible to just about everybody. I know that BitMEX has futures. The only problem I have with futures on BitMEX is that it's an unregulated market. And it is all based on Bitcoin. The fact is, in order to short Bitcoin, you really need to have a margined account, and preferably one that is with a broker that is regulated. How do you play the long game? I would look at this, with the current environment, I would say that maybe start accumulating from here down to 1,000. Start increasing the size of that position in your accumulation down to as it gets closer to 1,000. I do believe that will probably be the low here, but I think that that's going to last for a while, maybe up to 2 years, maybe longer. So there's plenty of time to play that long game, in my view. But start adding something here and lower. That's how I would play it. Gurdeep Singh, why do you talk about Bitcoin so much? Let's talk about traditional markets, please. Well, the job right now is to... Bitcoin is the perfect metaphor for a larger market on what not to do, or what not to get involved with, or what not to allow to take over your mind, your heart, your soul. So it's the perfect reflection of how not to act in the market. So that's why I do it, and it also comes with a lot of people that are interested in hearing about it. There's this element of Schadenfreude out there, and that is people who take glee in the misery of others. And so I'm trying to take advantage of that. That's why I am talking about this. You should be able to learn something from this about traditional markets by watching this. I hope that answers your question. Kiwinel, that's an L at the end there. Can you explain how the AI works without stops? Black Swan. All right. So you're worried that there will be a black swan. So first of all, I didn't say no stops. What I said that is each individual position does not have stops. I would place a theoretical portfolio-wide stop that would represent your catastrophic loss in the event that we had several positions on that that drew down to that limit. Now, for some people, that might be 10%. Some it might be 5%, some it might be 2%, depending on the size of your account. Generally, the longer or the larger the account, the lower the theoretical catastrophic loss might be. We also have a time-based stop, so each position is given 4 days to work itself out. So there are stops, but they're different in the sense of what most people are familiar with stops. The reason why I can say no stops, though, in the course of all the multiple positions is that the AI has been taught, or we taught it. It's a learning algorithm, a neural net. We have educated it on literally hundreds of different patterns price patterns, candle patterns, volume patterns, etc. And it has also found other patterns on its own, and it combines all of these, and it can look at 20 years of data in a flash and then find all the opportunities using any combination of these patterns to find opportunities in potential setups that have, at least from a statistical point of view, a better than an 80% potential for profit, or potential of profit, or probability of profit, what we call the POP. And looking for, on the probability of that profit, of that move, that positive move, that all the moves in that 80% genre have achieved at least a 1 standard deviation move to the positive. So that's what it's looking for in a 4-day or 4-session window. So those are the high-level parameters of the AI. It then uses a learning algorithm with all these patterns to go out and search for these opportunities. So because it looks at so many different patterns in combinations, there are literally millions of patterns that it is using to juxtapose this decades of data. And so anytime it does find an opportunity, the odds are that that opportunity has been vetted out on a pattern or a pattern combination that is unique from any other setup. So every setup that we put out there, for the most part, every once in a while we get one pattern that will recur, but for the most part are using different setups. They're non-correlated to each other by fact that they are different setups, that they're using all this different information out there, looking at the individual asset, finding patterns that we couldn't necessarily see with the human eye, sort of making sense, through its algorithms, patterns that exist in this cloud of data. And so because each strategy or pattern that it finds is unique to the other, they have also, what we've measured, is a low degree of correlation with each other. And it's been proven, mostly this is the way hedge funds and big investment banks and others invest in very large portfolios. They're looking to put on multiple non-correlated strategies because they have a very unique property of being able to that is their risk management, so to speak. That is the principle behind hedging or hedge funds. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are essentially creating a hedged neutral or delta neutral fund by putting on all these non-correlated strategies with each other, with some parameters, higher level risk parameters, the 4-day time period, as well as the portfolio risk. So that is the basic concept behind this, and it's actually proven to be quite effective. We've been working on this for almost 5 years. It has grown and improved and evolved over those 5 years to a point where we felt like, man, we got to put this out there as a service. Now we trade our own accounts, we trade a few customer accounts, and that's it. It is one of the many strategies that I use to make money. I also have training businesses. I have other investigatory consultancies and other businesses. Those are, from my point of view, that's how from a philosophical point of view, I buy into this multiple non-correlated strategies, even when it comes to multiple income streams. And this is one of my income streams, trading for people as well as selling the service. So now you know the whole story. Your first channel had gems, dude. Was really good, I remember. Too bad they closed. By the way, where is the background? Europe, Spain, or Italy? It's Croatia. It is Croatia. High voltage. How you doing? So Fortis Connect thinks we're going higher because Nathan agrees with him. All right. Well, I don't know what you're basing that on. Can you give me some fundamental data that would support that conclusion? Crypto Bacon. I have no idea how to trade using Discord group calls. Can you give us a demo on how you put in the calls and what sites you use? I don't use sites. If you can show how simple it is, I might sign up. Well, I've shown that many times, and I'd be happy to show it again. There are other videos. As a matter of fact, the feature video on my site does go through this, but I'll do that right now. And I'll show you a typical call and that comes out of the email. So here's an account that that gets the setups, and so this is what you get. You get these setups that come every day. There'll be futures and Forex mainly right now. Signals. There's another one. But you'll see that we have breakouts, buys, and sells. And then the symbol, and whether it's futures market or Forex. We're working on equities right now. We've already put out some equities, but we're not quite there in terms of the automation. So it's going to take a little while before we fold that into our regular service. But these come out every night around 8 p.m. And they're conditional. They're conditional setups. So if, for instance, on this one, this is the Aussie dollar. It's a breakout. If it breached or went above 0.7303, then we would take the trade, and we expect it to move as high as 73485. So it's about 45 pips. So that would be a typical one. Here's a sell. So on the Swiss franc, it's saying if it came up to $1 and 0.0119 cents, then we would sell it if it hit that target area or that entry level, and we would look to exit down here. This one's a buy. If it comes down to this level, then we would look to buy it and come up to that level. I would say about 35 to 40% of these actually trigger and get set up, and we take those trades. And of those that we take, about 85% of them are winners. We target, the system targets about 80%, but so far it's been about 80%. So I would imagine that that will fluctuate. Maybe sometimes it'll move down a little bit, then move up. But it's been about 85% winners. And on average, we're targeting about a 25% return on our capital. In other words, the amount of margin that we put to work on any one of these trades, we look to make about 25% of that. So if the margin is, say, $1,000, most of these, the margin might be around $2,000 or $3,000. We look to make about 25% of that, all right? But the reality is, at least with what we've shown so far, it's been returning 100, 200, even 500% of that margin that we're looking to make. So it really has been quite spectacular. I hope that that answers your question. It is really easy. So here I'll show you an example. All right. So here in the upper left, all right, I have to make this so you can see it, so you don't see my ugly face. All right. This chart in the upper left, there were two calls that were made the other day. One was a breakout on the same asset. One was a breakout, which was this. So if it went above this, by the way, the entries are only good for that session that they're called in. After that, you discard them. Then you go on to the next session, the next set of entry or setups. But on this day, we called two. We called a breakout and a buy. It never broke out, but it did come down for a buy. And so we would buy anything below this line here at which is the Canada dollar below 0.752. All right, and our target was about 0.756, I believe, and I believe it's hit the target already. So the target was right about here. So it went below. So you could have bought anywhere in here. It went. This move, that initial move, was very fast. So most people got in down here. And now today, you can see that it's clearly above and has hit the target, which is right about here. Or it's come within a few ticks of the target. Now, not all trades work. So, for instance, the trade over here to the... Well, that's not a trade. Let's see. So here are a number of other trades. So you can see I put the levels in here, and then they correspond with the entries and the targets of other trades. Wow, the markets are just taking off. I think we're on the precipice of a very large bull run in the markets. So, hopefully, that answers your question. So now we need to go back to Croatia. I'm going to get back to the questions here. I got to find them. There they are. Boogers Guy asks, can you give one concrete example of a pattern coded into the AI setups? Is it using typical indicators? Yes and no. It could be something like, oh, I don't know. A pattern could be, you know, RSI above something something with the ADX at this level, or, you know, momentum at this level or something. That could be like one pattern. But there's literally, or it could be one of the regular high opportunity candle patterns that are out there, like you know, 3 black crows or something like that. But we have literally put into it well over 300 of these different patterns. There are also volume patterns in there as well. And then the AI has actually created other patterns that it recognizes. And it's looking for any combination or a string of patterns together that come up and then have some statistical occurrence, statistically significant occurrence. So in other words, if over the past 20 years it happens, say, more than 50 or 100 times, then we start looking at it and it meets all those parameters. That's what we're looking for. Fortis Connect says, Ernie, we want to learn futures with you. We will sign up with your course when we find some time in the next quarter. That's fantastic. I love to hear that. So right now, I'm not doing any real marketing on this. I did a little bit of a, you know, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but only on this show. I haven't done any affiliate marketing or anything like that. And right now we have about 50 customers. I'm looking to eventually get it up to about 200, maybe a little bit more, and then that's it. That's it. As I said, we're totally committed to this because this is something that we do, but I don't want to turn this into some mega thing. It's not in the cards. I want it to be able to run on itself, give a quality service, quality support. Chuck A says, Bitcoin has rocketed up to only down 79% from the highs. Only down 79%. The BTC believers are ready for Ernie's concession speech. Keep waiting, pumpers. Yeah, you won't see it anytime soon. Raziel, how you doing, man? Or woman? I don't know. I'm sorry if that offends you. Ernie, is it time to back up the truck with Bitcoin? No. No, 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 no. Oh, ultimate clickbait. Now, I'm always interested in clickbait ideas. So if you have clickbait ideas for titles of future shows, please let me know. Now, here we go. Ultimate clickbait would be to change your username to Bitcoin Bull. I don't know. That might confuse some people. Because I am Trader of Futures, I've kind of built up that brand. That would drive a lot of Moon Boys to your channel. Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put that into the tags. I'll put that into every title, even. Let's see. Tyler's asking, thoughts on NASDAQ partnering with Van Eck to bring Bitcoin futures to Q1? I would say that I don't care who's partnering with who. The SEC is saying, fuck you. We don't give a shit about your fucking ETF because it is no good for customers and it just brings us a world of worry all the time. We don't want to deal with it. So fuck off. That's basically what they've said to every ETF proposal. Chris is asking, about the AI setups, what exchanges allow for micro futures contracts and how much money do you need in your account to hold these contracts overnight? The micro contracts are 1/10 the number of the other contracts. So in general, you only need a few $100s to hold it overnight. And virtually every exchange that offers futures that offers CME futures also has, which are predominantly most of all futures, also have the micro contracts. Yeah, I know. My head was in the way. What is it in the way now? The show's here, not there. Let's see. Get a little black outline on the hand. That's kind of neat. I wonder if the software does that to provide some contrast. This hand is mangled. See that? Can't bend this finger back. It doesn't go back. Big injury. See the tendon there? Oof. Hurts like hell. I'm going to get that fixed someday. Futures are not difficult. Let me just say that. Futures are not difficult. They're no more difficult to trade than stocks. As a matter of fact, I think they're easier because they're generally an aggregate of a whole bunch of different companies all into just one market. You're only trading markets. You're not trading individual companies. I think stocks are far more difficult to trade than futures. The problem that most people have with futures is that they have extreme amounts of leverage. And so if you don't have a good strategy, a good risk management strategy, a good position sizing strategy, And you are subject to letting your emotions getting the best of you, then you can blow up an account very quickly. As a matter of fact, most people do. But what we're offering here is a way to do futures where there is already built in a great risk management strategy. And on top of that, we'll teach you how to properly size your trades and your positions. And we show you how that you can get in. And our underlying philosophy is to trade small, and also to preserve capital first before you make a profit. That's what it's all about, and we teach that. We make futures easy here. Would the course work or be helpful for someone who can't or doesn't sit at the computer all day? Yeah, actually, and that's because you can get the signals the night before, set up your trades, with the entries and the targets, and they could happen overnight. They could happen the next morning. There's not much you have to do. You can check in on them and then manage them that way. Bitcoin is going for a short upside. I expect to short 38% fib retracement and then down to Chinatown again. Ernie, when is it going to be time to back up the truck with gold? That's a very good question. I think that gold is going to be in a bit of a slump for a little bit, but I think gold will start to gain some traction as our economy starts expanding and it keeps up with inflation. That'll probably happen next year. Is everything traded in ETH? I don't know. I don't really care. A lot of things are, but most things are priced in Bitcoin and US dollar. True Grit says, Ernie, you sure don't take anything for granted when you trade. Lucky you have computers. Yeah, where would I be without computers? But I remember those days without computers. Heck, I remember those days without TV. I remember the days when we had 3 friggin' channels. That's how old I am. 3 friggin' channels. 3! And then came PBS. Then we had 4 channels. Then we had the local smaller market channels that came on. Like in the Boston area, we got in the New Hampshire and the Providence channels. And so then we had, 5 or 6 channels. Then that was VHF. That was just the lower end of the dial. Then this big thing came on called UHF, ultra high frequency channels. And then we had even smaller markets that appeared on there. Yeah, those were the days. Display Z says Ernie thinks he knows Bitcoin, but he always has to see the fundamentals, even though he doesn't believe it. Bitcoin has no reason for going to the moon or to the downside, just savage traders. So I guess, Display, then you know everything. Why don't you do this show? Ricky Hope, how you doing, man? Ernie, will we see in the future the government putting more outrageous regulations on crypto coins? Absolutely. And they won't be outrageous. First of all, they haven't put any regulation out there. They're applying the regulation that already exists. And it's not outrageous. It's what we've all been living with. The problem with Bitcoiners is that they are living in their own private Idaho. This is the AIM master again. AIM mentor, how you doing? I am still live, but I'm going to wrap it up here. I've been on way too long. Yeah, it did. It just I think it's just like a couple of ticks below the target, actually. I just looked at it a few minutes ago. It's just a few ticks below the target. Well, they are making money, so all's good. I will. Bye. There, I took another personal phone call. You gonna shoot me? Now we're an hour and a half into this show, and normally I do not like going this long into any kind of show here. But there were a lot of questions. Chris W. saying, can you use leverage with micro contracts? Well, there is leverage already, but it's just 1/10 the amount of the full-size contract. So there is good leverage, but it's easier to manage. Sorry to jump in. I am in metals for more than 10 years, and I am not excited about it. Like Ernie, in my opinion, gold is being held in a range, ain't going anywhere, at least not yet. Is there any reason why someone shouldn't sign up for the course? 80% win rate. Yeah, because we'll teach you about the fundamentals and the overall philosophy. And also, you'll be able to then take advantage of any other course that comes up. There's also a question and answer period in it. So, yeah, there's a lot of value in it. It is an extended part of the support system. So, look. You can decide not to do the course. I'm fine with that, but you will not then ever be open to any of the courses that we give for free to the membership. How much money would I need to start trading futures using your service? I'd say it's not just futures again. It's futures, Forex, and ETFs and equities. I would say that you can start with about 10,000. That's probably a good amount. We would have to design a program around that and give you direction on what's the best way to trade so that you're not overextending yourself. Develop a plan. We'll help you with that. And then anything above that obviously makes it easier and easier. And it's scalable. You can scale up to a multi-million-dollar account. I'm personally trading about $300,000 in a $300,000 account. Yeah, the CIA is contacting me again. Snafflophagus, how you doing? How about the Steelers? I don't really care. The Steelers, they're probably helping Patriot Nation. All right. You should show an aerial view of a drone strike. Well, if they had a screensaver that did nothing but drone strikes, I might show that next time. That's a really good idea, Trojan Hell. Thank you very much. All right, that's it. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. It's been fun. I want you to also go down and hit the like button, please. Hit that like button now. And share this video with your friends. Tell them about it. I think it's really the only show that makes an attempt to talk to every single person out there. And as the show gets bigger, I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to probably have to bring in some help to manage that. But we're not there yet. Help me bring us there. Love you all. See you next time. See, now I have to figure out how to stop all of this. All right, we need to go to YouTube. We need to stop the streaming. Bye. 999.